Good evening. I'm Phil Priest, and with me is Kevin Johnston tonight. And we're talking with Steve Howe, the guitarist from Yes. And we just finished up the concert at the Assembly Hall tonight, and we'd like to talk to Steve about a few of the things about the concert and about the band and about himself. Steve, first of all, the question that comes to mind is, to me, this tour seems awful short after the first one you just did last fall. Is there a reason you're touring again so soon?
What do you mean there's a short gap between the tours?
Right, short than normally, I'd say.
Well, mainly we're doing areas that we consider not to be looked after last year. You know, we didn't come here last year.
Mm-hmm. And you're still playing the big places, though.
And the only place we've played so far that we played last year is, in fact, Detroit. Mm-hmm. We've been in Canada for a week. We're going back to Canada. So a lot of the dates are in Canada. So...
Right.
The first half of the tour is mainly different areas except Detroit. So we figure that's working at spaces in the Midwest as well. So, you know, it's got its practical side, and that's it, really.
All right, and what about the new live album coming out? That was taped last fall, I presume.
Well, it's been taped for about 3 years we've been recording, so we've
Will it have anything with Patrick Moraz on there?
It's got Patrick Moraz on it as well as Rick, yeah.
Okay.
So that's sort of ready to be put out, but we just haven't decided on a release date yet. So
Good.
That's going to be a double live.
What could you tell us about where do you do your writing? That's the important thing. Because when you listen to the music, you're taken far away.
Mm. And
where do you get the ideas for the writing?
Well, that's quite difficult to answer, but I mean, a variety of places. I mean, a lot of the times would be, you know, in England, but I don't know. Germs of ideas can happen anywhere. So you might get an idea on tour, or you might get it lazing around in your garden or something.
That's like the Tales from Topographic Oceans album that was conceived on tour.
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit of early Yes music did get worked out a little bit on tour, and I think still music that we do on tour somehow carries on into the next album a little bit. Mm-hmm. So certain ideas that were on, for instance, Tomato, on the Going for the One tours, there'd been a few bits of music going on in and around, so they developed into, you know, Future Times and things like that.
Speaking of the tours, your stage show is getting a lot simpler than it used to be, and the round stage concept. Can you tell us some things about that, where the ideas came from, or why you got a little more simplified?
Yeah, well, it was inevitably going to have to get simpler because it couldn't get much more complicated. So one of the last major stages we had, the one with 3 arms that used to go up and down, you know, giant lighting rigs and things. Well, that's now on display in the Victorian Albert Museum, apparently. It's part of Roger Dean's work. But okay, that was getting grandiose, and then I think we knew there had to be something different. We couldn't just try and compete with people who were spending much more money with not so many good ideas. So we had some good ideas, but they were all extremely extravagant. So we figured that we had to do something else. So everybody had mentioned the round stage. Chris had said earlier, let's have an amazing round stage with all this and that, and we hadn't really considered it. Mickey Tate, who's the light man, he made it simple. You know, he said, well, you can afford this, you can do it, and it'll be effective, and blah, blah, blah.
One thing that we wanted to say was happy 10th anniversary. I know it's a milestone, and it has to be important in your life as far as being able to maintain what you've got. You've had this ball rolling now for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there seems to be no obstacles at this point.
Well, I don't think life's ever quite that simple, but I mean, I've been in the group, 9 years, I think, really, and so, 8.5 or something like that. But, sure, you do. It is nice to be able to look back on, a group's work for that long. We've got a very big repertoire, so we can change our music around quite considerably if we want to. So that's nice. But I think as time goes on, it doesn't get easier to keep it rolling, not in the musical sense really, but in the technical sense. So we get a new stage and then we come on tour again with it. And obviously we're already thinking about moving on. And each time you move on, you have to sort of, basically you have to get a whole lot of money together and put it into an idea. And in some ways that side of it can be quite tricky, to perpetuate new ideas.
In other words, so the thing you're doing now will support the next thing coming up a little bit, right? How has things changed for you in the last 10 years, i.e. on the road?
How have they changed?
Is it easier to play now? So many dates? Do you get used to the tour schedule? The rigor of it?
I mean, I think when you first start touring America, you get a kick out of it, and you go through a few sort of patterns of it giving you confidence, so you get better, and then after a while you're doing all sorts of crazy things, and you sort of think, right, well, I now have to get it in my terms, so you sort of change it. I think quite a lot of it depends on what you wear on stage. I know it sounds odd, but
your clothes are always very interesting. Do you handpick those out very carefully before the tour?
Well, yeah, somebody makes them for me. You know, we sort of talk with a designer called Chrissy Walsh, her name is. So she gets an idea, and I don't really know what it's going to do to me. Like, I was wearing turquoise one year and red, and this year I was wearing these clothes, which are based on my original touring clothes I used to play in. About 3 tours I played in the same clothes. It sounds a bit like Jethro Tull story, right. But I really love these clothes, and they were really simple. So these clothes I'm wearing this tour are sort of based on that idea, really. But they I can't really explain to you very deeply how much you change from tour to tour. Your attitude, the way you feel, your confidence, your enthusiasm, all this sort of, you have all of it at different levels all the time. And certainly a tour has a sort of a pattern, a trend in it that goes through it, your attitude. But sometimes I think, well, because I'm wearing these clothes, I'm carrying on like this, really.
Well, what happens when it's time to relax? Let's say the tour's over.
Yeah.
How do you go about unwinding and to get back into a normal lifestyle?
This is normal.
It's all relative.
No, I mean, besides doing this, obviously, I mean, a whole lot of other things are going on as well. And obviously, when I don't tour, then I become totally immersed in, my life, without the group. So after work, we always have complete separation, We work for 3 months together, and then we split for 2 months, so that, we all do different things. So we all get immersed into our families and our friends and our music in different ways. So where you go doesn't really make much difference. I mean, quite often after a tour, I just can't wait to get back to England. But sometimes that changes and we go somewhere else, or we go somewhere before the tour starts. So we get away together and do some exploring or roaming around.
Is this when you get the ideas for your solo projects?
I don't know. After the last tour, I just thought, right, I'm going to do a solo album now. So I didn't want to work very hard that year. I'd done a lot already. So I just worked 2 days a week until Christmas. And then after that, I stepped it out and worked 5 days a week, and all of January and February, and finished the record, much to my amazement. And some of the work had taken years. There's one track, the title track is called All's a Chord, i.e. the guitar chord, All's a Chord. But, it's taken about 10 years to formulate that one piece of music. That's very special to me. And another music, I got ready and did then. So in some ways it covers along quite a long time for me. But mainly it's, besides All's a Chord, it's all music that's just been done, And
a lot of thought has gone into it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not something you're forced to rush
like
through.
All's a Chord's really a multi-guitarist's number. I mean, it would take about 10 guitarists to play it live on stage. Unless they could change quicker than I can change.
Speaking of all your guitars, how many have you been carrying with you on this tour?
I don't know, about 14, I think.
About 14. You have 8 on stage, I noticed that tonight.
I think it's 10, actually.
Well, okay, I was at an angle.
Who's counting?
And you're a collector of guitars, aren't you?
Yeah. I got a fantastic, I think possibly one of the world's best collections. I got 120 instruments that are all...
And it really shows in your style, because you can work so many different styles into your guitar playing.
Yeah, I mean, the two went hand in hand, really. I suppose I'd always played in different styles before I had different kinds of guitars, obviously. But when it became possible for me to buy a guitar if I liked it, without buying it on the HP or, trading something, as they say, obviously I realised then that, I wanted a steel guitar. I had to have a steel guitar. That was the first thing I bought. So, on an American tour, the first American tour, I think. But anyway, so yeah, it builds up, and I've got 120, but about 20 or 30 of them are antiques, which are very special to me, because they're a bit like this room, really. Except original, this is a sort of a...
They're all very
weird.
Unique and special.
But yeah, the old ones are particularly special.
And because of all the different styles you pick up, you won an award last year, didn't you? The guitar player.
Yeah, for 2 years I've won the Guitar Player Award. I think it's two. I think it's two. The second year I won the Best Overall Guitarist. So I was very pleased.
That's really impressive. Do you, do these things mean a lot to you then? Do you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's something, there's a lot of jokes about getting awards, really, in the music industry, just because they're things you want, and you need a bit of distance between getting them. Because once you've got them, by the time you've got them, they're, it's sort of like, oh, well, I don't want that anymore. Not that you don't want to have it, but what I'm really saying is that, like, you don't have to want for it because you've now got it. So you lose that sort of want for things like that. But once you've got an award that's special to you, I've been getting Yes Awards, really got, Yes Gold albums, and Yes this. Now, obviously, that, got quite commonplace, but, we were never blasé about it. We were still, collect them, we've got somewhere in everybody's house, there's a wall full of albums, obviously. So, but then when it came that, like, Melody Maker, I got voted top guitarist, Melody Maker, in 76, and then I won the Guitar Player Award. Guitar Player, the American one, 77 or 78 and 79. And the same happened with Melody Maker. I won that again this year. So, I mean, I like those much more because they're closer to home, getting a guitar award is a bit sort of, oh, that's great. Yes Awards, well, that's a joint effort, and you feel part of something, and you're pleased to be part of it.
Well, you've had such great success over the last 10 years. Looking ahead to the next 10 years, we've heard talk of a concept album soon. What does the future hold, and what directions will the music go?
I don't know whether that's an area I can talk about, really. Really, we need to do all sorts of music, and I don't know whether concept is going to be the strongest thing about the next project. Although I'd quite like it to be, but I don't think I can, predict at the moment, quite yet. Cop out, yes, he copped out.
Well, we'll let it go this time. I think there are just other things that we wanted to bring out, in that 10 years on the road has got to have changed the way the band was originally meant to be. You've risen from the ranks, and now you rank with the other bands that have proven themselves.
Yeah.
How has this affected the music? How has this affected your own style?
I think I look upon style as a guitarist always something that I'm able to keep moving on with, and the style of the group and the presentation and the artwork and all the things, whether we can, they're two separate things, and so you have a sense of achievement for the guitar side as much as you do, like the album Syndrome, but I don't know, I can't say much more on that one. It got me stumped. Not actually stumped, but just voided. Time warped.
Getting back
Jet
into the
lagged.
past a little bit, how was it you first got associated with Yes? They had Peter Banks as guitarist for the first year
Yeah,
and a half or
69, they got together with Banks and everybody, and Bruford and Squire and Anderson. So, I think the group had been together about almost a year and a half, and then, that was late 69, early 70. So then, I don't know, Peter, what had happened was Peter was a great performer, and he was a very good, he is a very good guitarist. So he fitted in with the group, but it was almost like, he hit a flamboyant stage, and in some ways the group, weren't ready for it, in quite ways, for somebody to be, pretty sort of wild and everything. I think they weren't sure whether it married up with the music and all that sort of thing. So anyway, I was hoping to get a gig, and I got a gig called Yes, so I was quite happy.
And it's worked out really good.
And it worked out all right, yeah. It was the sort of thing I wanted to do, so it was like joining a group of musical maniacs at that time. And I still like to think of us like that. As you were asking earlier, how has success changed it? Well, it's not really success that changes it, but it's life that changes it, because like everybody else, things don't stay the same. They don't stay the same in music, they don't stay the same in life, they don't stay the same in a group.
Do you find that the audiences have changed? Who do you play to now? Do you find the over 25s in the audience?
No, I'm totally unaware of how old people are. In the audience, I don't really consider that. But anyway, there's all sorts of people that we're hitting. Obviously, we've carried a lot of people on from Close to the Edge. Up to that time, there was a lot of people that were into us, that most of them would start with us. And obviously, it's changed, getting back to your other question, it's changed our music in the sense that we've actually changed personnel. I mean, that they are quite, big steps. So obviously it was a big step, although the group didn't realise it at the time when Bill left, because Bill's playing on my record on the title track, and we like, Bill is one of the, great people that we love. So we had to change then, just because we had to change. So sure, we've accepted change. We've always tried to look upon it positively.
It's interesting you mentioned Bill Bruford. He was here with UK last fall.
Oh, yeah.
And, we didn't have a little chance to talk to him, but we know some people that did.
Yeah.
And he had some very interesting ideas. Mainly, he said he got tired of playing the very large halls.
Yeah.
Do you miss the audience rapport?
No, I'm into the big rapport. I'm into the 20,000 seat rapport.
Crowd, but not really.
I mean, sure, I like playing intimately. It's very special. But maybe what happens to a performer is you play incredibly intimately, with your wife or something, to my wife or something, I'll play. But I don't know, or you play to a big audience, but all the in-betweens can be filled in just by stepping on the stage and playing with somebody, I mean? It's not like that void people imagine for a performer. Well, I'm stuck doing 20,000 seats, so I can't perform in a club anymore. I don't think that's... I think the skills you need in a big arena are only a progression that you desperately want when you're playing in a small place. You want to take that further, you want to take it, to a bigger audience. So when you've done that, sure, you can then say, oh, it must have been great playing in clubs. I wonder if I'll ever play in one again. But no, I think there's the kick you get out of performing in the big place. Well, any size that's bigger than the style we're used to playing. Like for 10 years before this, we were all playing in English sort of places, and I mean, some of those are really amazing when you think about it. We're used to playing in America. We think it's a really good standard of places to hit. Like you can go boom, 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 boom. We just keep going, boom, 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 and hitting all these great places, and the kids are all into it, and the shows go and everything. In England, it was never like that. That wasn't touring. Touring was always incredible hardship and difficulty and late planes and not having a chance to barely tune up, before you went on, sort of thing. Rushing in with your hair matted down your head. Just sort of real tough stuff, So sure, we're soaking up being able to do it in some sort of style. But even that is... or has become quite difficult to achieve anyway, because things are expensive, and if you come on tour and do the way you do things the way you imagine you would do them, it will cost a fortune. So you have to reach some level of economy.
Even for Yes, things do cost a fortune.
Yeah, I mean, so we obviously a couple of years ago we looked at the structure of touring and said, well, okay, we'll have to economise, but don't let's sort of defy ourselves doing it. So we didn't cut down totally, but I mean we drastically cut expenses.
How do you find that the audiences differ from the United States to your overseas audience? Do you see
indescribably. But it's never the same. I mean, last time we played Madison Square Gardens, the people went so crazy, I could hardly stand up. I started to play the number, and I just got totally blown away somewhere. So I stopped playing, and they were going, wow, And the same thing, like that happened there. But then this tour, we went to Detroit, and we've been to Detroit already, and the people went really crazy there. So different times you hit different places, and the comparable place is like we'd be playing in and around London, and then you go to Scotland and you think, Christ, they're absolutely crazy up there, because they used to scream and shout and yell and all things. So
you mentioned your solo album.
Yeah.
It will be released coming up in the summer.
Yeah, July 16th is planned.
The release date. And are there other members of the band doing solo projects now, or is
Yeah.
this isn't like 3-4 years ago when you released the 5 solo albums?
Well, no, I don't think it's going to hit exactly the same trend,
Mm-hmm.
but presumably everybody else is up to things. I think Rick's got one coming out before mine. He did his, he got his finished by January or something. I think it's called Rhapsody, double record. So, and then there's mine. I think John's got something in the can with another musician, I think. So there should be things all the year, I think. Maybe.
Good. We're looking forward to those.
Good.
Probably one final thing we could get to tonight.
Okay.
Current trends in music.
Yeah.
How do you see the new wave scene in comparison to other music, and what the effect might have? Has it affected you at all in your thinking?
Oh yeah, I think it's affected me a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely into it. I think it's great. I think just seeing a sort of for the younger kids a sort of a rebirth is always a good thing. They're going to get into something, and lots of us have already seen whole other trends of music come and go, and certain other things go all the way through it. So out of it, of course, comes a lot of good new artists. So I've enjoyed it. It's a lot like the sort of music I was listening to when I was young. Really, it wasn't. Our stuff was tamer, but it was after. It had the same sentiments. For us, things like Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, and that was a sort of '60s thing, and that it was all aggression and heavy. Everything was heavy. Like the guy had a patch on. Like cat. So they're doing that now. That people, running around like madmen, but a lot of them are doing really good things. So I like it. I like Costello and I like Ian Jury. They're the ones you mentioned. They come to mind. So.
Well, yes comes to our mind, and congratulations on the past 10.
Good,
Best wishes on another 10.
All right,
I
then.
appreciate Steve taking some time out to talk with us.
Okay, pleasure. Bye.